Hi people, this year is the Tenant Times. I opened it on Monday. It's now Wednesday the 3rd of August 2010, and let's go for it now. What's in this? We got a new Tenants and Residents Association formed in St. Mellons. I wonder if any of these people are looking into how the rent revenue account's been handled over the last God knows how many decades, and how it's been handled lately with the old depreciation. Now, they've also got this thing here, fair away deciding the rent you pay. Well, it goes on about there are 18 different rents for one-bedroom flats, ranging from £56.25 a week to £76.50 a week, which I think is the one that they got me on. And there's all other things about how they do the rent, and then there's this little rent review survey, and I'll read it out because the video camera's not picking it up all that cleverly. Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? The rent of a house should be higher than the rent of a flat. Well, obviously you're going to agree with that, aren't you? Properties with more bedrooms should have a higher rent charge, e.g. a 3-bedroom house should have a higher rent than a 2-bedroom house. Well, you kind of agree with that, wouldn't you? The rent charge should be the same wherever you live in the city. Well, there ain't much difference, so yeah, let's tick that, agree with that. Now, any change to the rents of existing tenants should be made gradually over a number of years to prevent large increases. Well, I disagree with that, and I'll explain why I disagree with that in a second. 2. If the change in rent is made gradually, how much do you think the highest increase in rent should be? Well, if you've been following all my videos, you'll know that I don't agree with how they're handling their rent revenue accounts, so I've made my own little box here, and I've ticked it, and I put minus 50%. And then it says, is there anything else you think should be taken into account when deciding weekly rents? So I put in here, transfer the council's housing stock to housing association ownership so that the rent revenue account can no longer be defrauded and rent significantly reduced across the board. I signed it because they don't ask you to put your name and address on there, and I put my blog details on there as well, so they can have a look at those. Although they will say that they can't access blogs on their computer systems, but they should be able to go to a library and do it from there, but they won't because they're funny that way. So this little rent revenue survey is pants as far as I'm concerned. They're aiding and abetting corporate fraud. Now, the last few years they've been using depreciation to fiddle the rent revenue account by £30 million a year, when they used to fiddle it via what they call rent rebates. And if you notice my blog from the recent video, you'll see that I've asked them to stop doing that and do this transfer. Council tenants would be better off it was transferred into housing association ownership, and it ought to be done ASAP so that council tenants are no longer third-class citizens when it comes to housing benefit payments. Mr. David Cameron, sir, they shouldn't be third-class citizens. The account's been fiddled over and over and over again for decades now. In the last 10 years, I figured out that £300 million that account's been defrauded at, meaning rent levels could be significantly reduced. Now, if it's happening in Cardiff, I presume it's happening in every county council across the UK. And if they were all transferred to housing association ownership, I'd prefer it if they were owned by all the tenants. Don't know what you'd call that then. Then your housing benefit budget would be reduced enormously, and you could renegotiate the rents minus 50%, I can imagine. And then you wouldn't have this, government saying, oh, we're paying out X amount, and councils claiming that, oh, we're paying actually the housing benefit on these tenancies, when really it's central government. And it only seems to me like it's just paper money on a sheet somewhere that's not really accountable to anybody, that there's no money transfer actually happening at all. That's what it would appear like from my perspective, and I've yet to see anybody able to claim any different. Now, it's amazing to me, given that the BBC know all of this, why they aren't asking the people in Cardiff County Council, excuse me, would you be showing 30 million in rent rebates in your general fund now if your council tenancies were in housing association ownership? Now, I've sent the BBC enough of these. They all like to say that they're, I'm trying to think of the word. What is the word that they use? That they're not biased in any way, but they refuse to ask that question. And you've got to ask yourself, why is that, people? Why are the BBC not willing to investigate the manner in which Cardiff County Council have been running their housing account, rent revenue account, and now their general fund account, claiming that they're paying out housing benefit payments of 30 million a year when it's coming from central government? And if it was transferred into housing association, that wouldn't be there. That would mean that their general fund account would not be showing an expenditure of 30 million on rent rebates. So that means that it would be up 30 million to go into frontline services. Am I telling lies, Mr. Cameron? Now, if it's happening in Cardiff, and it's a general policy, and I should imagine it's all done by central government, that all other councils are doing the same thing, then the tenants are being defrauded. And their properties are less because of it, and the social housing in this country is being systematically destroyed because of it, when if it's claimed that these monies are going into these accounts, then really social housing should be booming, not private buy-to-let properties. The council should own all of those properties if there hadn't been this, well, you can only call it a fiddle of the system by government, and councils are aiding and abetting it. And really, if they had a duty of care to their tenants, they should have been recommending a transfer out of council ownership into housing association years ago. But they won't, and you've got to wonder why they won't. Well, that's it from me today. I got to fold that up and send it off, and it's free post. So there we go, free post. Anybody want to write to these people? Here we go. See if we can get it on there. It's free post. Whoops. CF429, PO Box 6000, Cardiff, CF11 OWZ. There we go. I ought to photograph that and put it on a blog. So, BBC Radio Wales, aid and abet Cardiff County Council in defrauding tenants. That's what I'd like to see, a news headline, but then again, all the national news media have all had all my blogs, and they haven't done anything about it, although I was interested to see The Independent was running an article on medicinal cannabis for a heavily migraine sufferer, and that was nice to see. But will central government act on that, and will she be able to get a prescription of it from her GP? Here we go. All the best, people. Housing, social housing, masses of it all around the country, because finally the people have woken up and realised that they've been scammed for all these years, and they are pissed off with it. Thank you.